Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. We're happy to have with us Councilwoman Nancy Brune, who represents Ward 6. Councilwoman, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me. Great.
Good to see you. You've been in office 4 whole months now.
Yes, I know. It's going by so quickly.
Yes. You've hit the ground running. You know the ward very well. It's your stomping grounds. For those of you out there not exactly sure where Ward 6 is located, well, don't worry. We're going to show you on the map. It's right at the top of the valley. If you live in that area or work in that area, then you're in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And of course, if you're a resident out there, for the last 4 months, you have been represented on the city council by Nancy Brune. And Councilwoman, since you've come into office, one of the things that you've really stressed is to try to raise awareness of community issues, as well as tie people to the resources that can help with those issues and some of those things that confront the community. So along those lines, we're very happy to introduce our guest here today, which is Dr. Frederico Zaragoza, who is the president of the College of Southern Nevada. It is a pleasure to have you back in studio with us.
Thank you, David. Thank you for the invitation. Look forward to the conversation.
It's good to see you again. Councilwoman, I know one of the reasons that you wanted to have Dr. Zaragoza on is to talk about workforce and the workforce development, to be prepared for the future, to have jobs available, people trained for those jobs, and to provide that workforce as companies maybe eye Las Vegas as a place to relocate or to locate.
Yep. So workforce is one of my top priorities, and we have a lot of resources that come into our state through the federal government. So trying to figure out how we align the ecosystem so that it provides training that our employers need, and also prepare our workforce for those great jobs. And one of the things in looking at the workforce ecosystem, one of the resources that I think is so critical to our ecosystem is the College of Southern Nevada. We know that probably 40 to 60% of jobs that employers will be hiring for are what we call middle skilled jobs.
Explain that, Councilwoman. Yeah.
So that means that there are jobs that require more than a high school degree, but perhaps less than a 4-year college degree. And it turns out that there are a lot of jobs which are called soft bachelor jobs, bachelor's degree jobs, which means that they may say they require a bachelor's degree, but when you actually look at the skills that they require, it doesn't actually align with a 4-year college degree. It aligns with maybe a certificate program or an associate's degree. And so what we're trying to do is really push a narrative around hiring for skill-based jobs and workers that are trained in skills as opposed to like a specific degree. Having said that,
College of Southern Nevada, it's perfect because Dr. Zaragoza, that's so much of the curricula that you offer would fit just what the Councilwoman is describing.
It would. Actually, it's a comprehensive curriculum. And when you look at the labor market now, it's not just about educational attainment. It's about the skill sets you bring to the jobs. And so that's where we see all this kind of dynamic changes in the marketplace. And it's got a direct impact on the kind of programs that we're offering at CSN.
Give us some examples of what you're talking about, Dr. Zaragoza. What are some of those middle skill jobs that the Councilwoman is describing that would that would be a perfect example of our discussion?
David, if you look at the economic diversification, for example, there's a dimension that's a skill-driven kind of a component. And what you see there is that the nature of the workforce is very much a sequential kind of model where you've got entry-level skills, you've got middle skills, and you've got advanced skill sets. And the educational system needs to align to that kind of continuum because that's how people develop, that's how people move into those jobs. And so when you look at employment, it's important to understand where in that skill matrix do you connect. And many of our programs are associate degree programs, and those connect to kind of the middle of that skill continuum. It's ideal to prepare you for these emerging jobs. And the Councilwoman talked about the 60 to 70% of the jobs that are middle skills do not require a bachelor's degree, but they also require more than a high school diploma. And that's kind of the soft area that the College of Nevada is just excellent at, because we're able to kind of connect individuals to that continuum. But there is that other part that you start in the middle schools, but you also want to see the student grow. You want to see the workforce kind of become much more mobile in terms of helping the economy grow, and that mobility element then kicks in. And then so we see a lot of our students coming back for post-associate degree skill sets in the area of certification. The area of IT, for example, is huge for us.
I was going to say, IT seems like that would be a perfect example of what
Absolutely.
we're talking about.
Students will get that first job, then they'll come back for certifications in the Microsoft area or cybersecurity area, et cetera.
Right.
And it's part of that mobility pattern. And many of them actually will go on it and get an undergraduate degree and go into that next level of the marketplace. So it's important to understand that to penetrate the marketplace, you need skill sets. And I know we're looking at low unemployment rates, relatively speaking, but the Southern Nevada market is pretty unique. What you see here is basically unemployment rates that are twice that of the national average. Even though we're at about 6%, the national average is about 3%.
So significantly
and so you still have
different,
individuals that don't have those skill sets for those jobs, and that's the dichotomy here. Employers need the workers, but if the workers don't have the right skill sets, they're not going to be able to penetrate even in the good job market.
And Councilwoman, I know from an economic diversification standpoint, that's just vital to our future here, not just to the student, but to the community, because we've got to have the workforce available to provide the jobs that are going to be in demand.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes CSN such an incredible resource, is that they provide a pathway for all of those high or fast-growing sectors that we've identified as priority sectors, such as healthcare and IT. And even here in the city, we are hiring for cybersecurity, IT specialists, and even environmental science and protection technicians, which really translate into code enforcement. And we are hiring, as you know, lots of code enforcement officers. So I think CSN provides a wonderful opportunity for those first jobs, and then translate into great paying jobs, and then a pathway, right, for additional degree programs and education and training.
And Dr. Zaragoza, so IT, or obviously jobs, sounds like healthcare would be an area that would also, environmental sciences, but again, maybe you don't need the full four-year degree, but you do need to have some training to get your foot in the door for the jobs.
Yeah. And as you look at this effort to diversify the Southern Nevada economy, you're seeing much more diverse kind of labor pool out there, and you're seeing opportunities in areas like advanced manufacturing. In fact, that's percentage-wise, that's one of the fastest growing areas in Southern Nevada. So we now have those pathways and those programs into some of these areas are advanced manufacturing. It's the robotics, it's the mechatronics, it's not that old kind of manufacturing kind of job.
Where people are on an assembly line, right.
These are 4.0 jobs that pay really good wages. Haas is around the corner with 2,500 jobs in that space, and you're just beginning to see the economy diversify. What is very constant are those skill sets. We talked a little bit about kind of the health area, and obviously nursing has always been a high demand occupation. You're seeing kind of intense needs now in areas like teaching. That teacher pipeline just isn't what it needs to be in Nevada in general. And so that all creates a scenario where great opportunities, but you've got to be prepared for those jobs. And I always emphasize that community colleges are comprehensive. And many of our students, in fact, a third of university graduates started at community college. So even if you're going to transfer to university, oftentimes the community college is the best place for you for many reasons. But I wanted to emphasize that too, because it's a good place to really understand kind of the career pathways and where you're going. So we get a lot of these young people that connect to us even when they're in high school. And so the pathways now are starting much earlier than they have in the past.
I've always been intrigued. Now, Councilwoman, you've served as adjunct faculty at CSN in the years past. I've always been amazed at how the university or the college adjusts to the needs of the community, because since I've been here 30 plus years, College of Southern Nevada has managed to always figure out, okay, this is where the need is, and we adjust to it, which academia sometimes doesn't seem that fleet-footed,
Yeah.
but College of Southern Nevada has.
But I think that is actually the role of a community college and why it's such an important asset within the workforce education ecosystem, is that it is designed to really be closer to the community and have a pulse on, where students are at and also what local employers need. And so I think it's great actually that CSN has, 3, maybe 4 campuses, right? So because
talk more about that in a
within
minute, yeah.
Clark County, right, we just have different employer sets in North Las Vegas versus Central Vegas versus Henderson. And so, again, it just underscores the fact that the role of a community college is to be close in the community, really having its pulse on what both students and families and employers need.
And Dr. Frederico, hats off to you and your team, because College of Southern Nevada has managed to always seem to figure out where those trends are, where the needs are. And I don't know how you do it and how you've done it so adeptly over the years, but it's
I
been
think the
one of the...
Councilwoman hit the nail on the head. I mean, we are a community college. We're very much connected to our community, both in terms of the citizenship, but also the business and industry.
Right.
And we're always looking at emerging occupations. What does the future look like, and where are the jobs going to be? And we're kind of training for the next kind of level of
so that little bit of crystal ball, trying to figure out,
Absolutely.
what needs to happen, because the last thing you want to do is spend a lot of time going to school only to find out that the job field you've been studying is not available.
Exactly.
So not great. But this is a great discussion. We're going to continue it. We need to take a short break right now, but when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Councilwoman Brune and CSN President Federico Zaragoza. That's next, so please stay with us.
There's a place to share gossip about the office party fun, and a place to share the story you tell everyone. There's a place to share a laugh about when things went wrong, and a place to share the video of you dancing to your song. There's a place to share spare change, lunch, and your time. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by Dr. Federico Zaragoza, the president of the College of Southern Nevada, and of course, Councilwoman Nancy Brune from Ward 6. Thanks again for being here, Dr. Zaragoza. It's a great discussion that we're having. Councilwoman, let's talk a little bit about CSN itself. How many students are attending there now? It used to have kind of humble beginnings, but it's not so small anymore, I don't think.
It started 50 years ago.
Wow.
And my understanding, it started with 10 faculty members and less than 100 students. And now it's over 30,000 students.
Wow.
And in fact, our trajectory is to go back to pre-COVID levels at about 35,000 within the next 18 months.
Wow.
So we continue to be robust in terms of our growth, but we reflect the community that we serve, community college. So we're a majority-minority institution. 70% of our students are students of color, so we're very diverse. We also have a very diverse age kind of distribution too, where it's bimodal. You go to one of our graduations and you're going to see an 18-year-old graduating out of high school with an associate's degree, because we've got early college models out there.
And I know a few of my kids' friends who've done just that and graduated from high school.
Great program.
By the time they were graduating from high school and really having an associate's degree already. So they were well on their way to college before they even got out of high school.
Well, you'll see the dual gen scenario as well, where you'll see a mother, a grandmother, and a great grandmama walking the stage.
Wow. That's great.
That's what community colleges do in America. And the College of Southern Nevada is just pleased, and I'm so blessed to be in this community, because we are responding to the community college mission need here.
Yeah. I know, Councilwoman Brune, one of your concerns and one of the things you want to make sure happens is that as the community changes and grows, that CSN has the opportunity to also grow and to kind of be there to meet all the needs that the community presents. And I think you see the city is playing a part in that potentially.
Definitely. And I mean, I've said this before, the Northwest area where I represent in Councilman Alan Polensky, that area has grown so much. And I think on so many different dimensions, the infrastructure has not kept up with the growth. And so we're really pleased that we actually have land that really does sit in the middle or borders both Wards 4 and Ward 6 that is designated for a Northwest CSN campus, which, if you think about the growth, is so critical critical to serve the families that live out there so they're not having to travel to Henderson, as well as Creech Air Force Base. I know when I was teaching, we have a lot of military families and spouses that take classes at CSN, and so just having that closer connection so folks who are at Creech or even Nellis have some place close to home that they can travel to.
Dr. Zaragoza, in the way of background for people who may not be familiar, where are the current campuses located?
So we have 3 major campuses. Obviously, Henderson is our newest campus, north of Vegas, the original campus, and the Charleston campus. And so these are 3 comprehensive campuses. But we've known for some time that the demographic growth was taking us to the Northwest. And in fact, it's almost a 20-year process now where we knew that was happening. And the community, it takes time for the community to kind of create that pathway to a major campus. And so we now have a trajectory that would hopefully have us building within the next 18 months. We have a proposal before the legislature that would allow us to do the planning for our first building in what would be a 10 campus or 10 building facility campus, and that would also accommodate about 10,000 students. And I make the observation that the initial projecting was 10,000, but we've already got 10,000 students from that zip code taking courses, many online. So the demand is much greater. And that's why this planning grant is so important, because we need to make sure that it's dated. The other element is the kind of programs that we're going to offer. Obviously, I talked about early college experiences. Well, if you're from the Northwest sector, you're not going to have that opportunity because we don't have a campus located in your vicinity. That's a big concern of ours. And then secondly, there's opportunities, I think, to kind of create a better regional approach to some of our workforce needs. And one of the areas we don't talk a lot about is public safety. Our law enforcement officers, our fire and EMT professionals, and they need a much better infrastructure than we're able to provide now. And so our plan would be to embed in our Northwest campus a center of excellence in public safety so that we could really serve the whole region in a much better way. And secondly, to also kind of provide the community, the Northwest community, tied to the military and very much aligned with kind of the public safety mantra for us to be offering those programs in that facility.
Well, Councilwoman, I know you know this better than anyone, but your ward is the fastest growing within the city limits, so it makes sense to have a CSN campus in that area because that's where all the growth is occurring.
Yeah, but more importantly, I'm really excited about the fact that there will be a center of excellence in public safety because, as I've shared, we have not kept up. The infrastructure has not kept up with the growth, and we definitely need greater law enforcement presence out in wards 4 and ward 6. I heard it all the time when I was out canvassing, and we know that we are short. Sheriff McMahill has said we are short 300 officers, and we have we're also trying to recruit EMTs and firemen and women, and so having a center of excellence, I think, also just makes it easier to pursue those pathways. It's also a great way for the community to see that we are prioritizing law enforcement and public safety for that area. So it's a win-win, I think, for all of us, especially the students and families and our workforce. So I'm excited.
And CSN has a great track record. We have a partnership already with fire. It's in Ward 1, but there's a fire station on the campus. It's a teaching, living classroom. That's been a great partnership with
exactly, and I think the Center of Excellence will allow us to even go beyond that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Dr. Zaragoza, what are some of the trends if young people or anybody sitting out there watching this are thinking, where's the next job market going? What should I study to prepare myself for the future? What are some
David,
of your
that's
thoughts?
the number one question that I'm asked. And,
Sure.
And I always come back and remind people that we really can't predict the job itself, but I can predict the skill sets. And I think it's very important that STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math be embedded in the whole curriculum. And it's not just at the college level. This has to start much, much earlier. And so the partnerships that we have with the public school system is very critical because we have to start much earlier to embed the new foundation for success in the new workplace will be STEM-based. And we worry that many of our graduates haven't had that opportunity. We also worry about the gender inequity that we see in some of these career pathways.
Sure.
So if you look at the STEM fields, for example, women are significantly underrepresented in areas like engineering. We talked about public safety. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in that space. But I can tell you that if you have strong STEM skill sets, you're going to be very much in demand, whether you decide you're going to have a job in the cybersecurity area or advanced manufacturing, or if you go engineering or you lawyer. Those foundational skills are very critical.
Makes sense.
So we've got to start thinking about skills, not so much kind of the job, but what are the skills that are going to be required to be successful in a very dynamic marketplace.
Makes sense. And then, Dr. Zaragoza, I also see what you're saying, that really to prepare the kids for CSN and for college after that, potentially, you got to have a good foundation in elementary school. Then that's going to be a critical part of it all.
Well, I think there's an opportunity with the dual enrollment programs, which, you know, we had them sort of, they were few and far between, but the state has really made a huge effort in investing and expanding dual degree programs and the funding for that. So I don't know if there are new schools or expansion that you can speak to.
We're very excited. In fact, when I first came to the College of Southern Nevada, my goal was to actually triple the number of dual enrolled students for two reasons. One is that obviously the Nevada marketplace, and particularly Southern Nevada, provides a lot of opportunities for young people to, in some ways, to avoid the junior senior year, because you know there's jobs out there, and also there's a tradition of many high school graduates, especially minority communities, going to the workplace right after high school. And so from day one, I felt that was very important that we start the career pathways. Pathways is critical to really understand, to afford young people information they need in terms of making career decisions. And the dual enrollment is powerful because it turns you from a college-ready to a college-proven student. And we know the literature is very strong there, that if you earn college credit, you quadruple your opportunity to succeed in later life. And we just weren't doing the kind of curriculum work, I thought, in Southern Nevada that other parts of the country were doing. And so I remind people that we're taking some major steps, but we're still not where we need to be in relationship to the rest of the country. And more importantly, the integrated model, you mentioned earlier, it's P20. It's no longer K-12 and higher ed. We need to kind of keep that in mind as we look at our curriculum alignment issues.
That makes sense. Well, this is a great discussion. We're running low on time. So, Dr. Zaragoza, Councilwoman, anything else you want to include while we wrap up our discussion here?
We're looking forward to increased enrollment. So if you have any questions, contact us at csn.edu.
Yeah, exactly. And Dr. Zaragoza, you've made an amazing difference in that school in the 5 years you've been here. It's been phenomenal to see, and I just know there's going to be continued success because you really have a clear vision of what the school needs to be doing and how it can serve the community, and that's going to be a win-win for everybody. So I know you're pretty pleased with
yes, and that's why I say when you think about the workplace ecosystem, CSN really is front and center leading the good work being done in that. So proud to partner.
Yeah. Pleasure having you. Good to see you again.
Pleasure's all ours.
And we'll have to have him back in the future, get another update, see how that all goes. But in the meantime, everyone, Dr. Zaragoza, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to need to take another short break here, but please don't go away, everyone. Councilwoman Brune and I will be right back to talk about some important events in Ward 6. That's right after this. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Councilwoman Nancy Brune from Ward 6, and we have some events we want to be sure to mention. You had one here recently about public safety. It was a joint town hall. I don't know that we've ever really done a joint town hall here at the city, but it was pretty cool. You posted this on Twitter. You said, thanks to the engaged residents who came to listen, learn, and ask questions at our first public safety town hall with Councilwoman Alan Polensky. Thanks Sheriff and Assistant Sheriff Yatomi and City of Las Vegas Department of Public Safety Chief Jason Potts for listening to our residents' concerns. Looking forward to the next one. And this was a pretty cool event because the whole focus was
public safety.
Making the community safer.
Yeah, we did actually hear this is the first time that anyone has done a joint town hall, and it was great. I mean, what was so impressive is just we had a huge turnout, more than we expected, and everybody had such thoughtful questions, but it's also really clear that public safety is one of the top concerns that our residents have. So really looking forward to coming back. The sheriff agreed to come back quarterly to update residents, and so we'll be doing more of these throughout the year.
Councilwoman, what were some of the typical things that you heard from the residents? Is it traffic related? Is it crimes, burglaries, theft of catalytic converters?
All of those things, So. And again, as going back to my earlier point, when I mentioned, asking if we could have a substation out there, like the whole room erupted in applause, because I think, again, we just feel like we haven't had much of a law enforcement presence, and we've grown so much, and just having a police substation or something out there, I think, would make the residents feel as though law enforcement is close by and we're taking public safety seriously. Yeah,
well, it's a great meeting and a great discussion, and a very nice turnout. Looks like you had as well for that. So that is very good. And again, Councilwoman, sounds like you'll be doing more of these down the road.
Yes.
So if you missed this last one, don't worry. We'll be having more. And then this is always a great topic. People love this. The Bluegrass Festival coming back April 15th from 11 to 7 out at the Centennial Hills Park.
Yes, and we're excited to have award-winning singer Molly Tuttle and the Golden Highway Band. So we're excited that she agreed to come out and share some time with us.
And folks, if you've not been out to this, it's wonderful. It's on the grass out there, and bring some low-back chairs, blankets, whatever, plenty of food, and just sit back and relax.
Good time.
The bands play literally one after the next all day long, right into the evening hours. So
it's one of our best attended events in Ward 6. So
really
we're happy to bring it back again this year.
Yeah, and I think the weather is going to cooperate.
Yes,
Looks like it will. We're keeping our fingers crossed. So good. We deserve that. And then last but not least, Councilwoman, we want to mention to everybody, you have a great opportunity for people if they want to bring issues to you. They don't have to, come down here to City Hall. They can go to the Centennial Hills Community Center out there in the community room. You have a neighborhood office out there, and every second Thursday of the month from 9 to noon, you're out there, right?
Correct. So our next one will be April 13th, again, Thursday from 9 to 12. We get incredible turnout every single time we do. This is our fourth one. We're doing it every month. People come. They love to just say hi to me. We've got some regulars. We've always got some new people. We talked a lot about pickleball in the last meeting. We have great snacks. So people just, come say hi, grab some snacks, grab a little bit thing to eat, and
nice.
And go to your exercise class right there at the Y.
Right, and you don't have to come all the way down to City Hall either,
exactly.
Which is even better. So, well, Councilwoman, good stuff, and you've got a lot of activities and more coming. So. We're running out of time here, but we want to tell everybody out there real quickly, hey, we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Brune, you can find her on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact her by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send her an email. Her address is nbrune@lasvegasnevada.gov, and she or one of her great staff will get right back to you. So, well, great job, Councilwoman. You're getting to be an old veteran of Access City Council now.
3 under my belt now.
Right. So 6 weeks from now, we'll have you back with another update from Ward 6, and lots of great discussions on the way, and lots of great events coming too. We'll tell everybody about in the future as well. But in the meantime, thank you, and we'll see you back then. And we want to thank you for joining us. Our next Access City Council show begins airing on April 13th with Ward 1 City Councilman Brian Knutson. You can catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire now. And watch for our QR code in the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.